This is a novel written by James Luceno and set right after Revenge of the Sith. It is about the rise of Darth Vader, and that's all I really knew about the story going in. And when we're talking about the rise of Darth Vader, it's him fully becoming a Sith Lord, because he is pretty conflicted about everything he's done throughout this novel. And we parallel that with Shrine's journey in this, his story arc of him rediscovering his faith in the Jedi way. And I actually came to really like Shrine as a character. He's not that unique of a character, but his story arc in this, his character arc, was really well done. And coupled with the Padawan Starstone, her story arc as well, I like where she ended up. And this did change my mind about surviving Jedi, because I was always kind of conflicted on whether or not it worked. Well, they're always involved in pretty decent stories in the expanded universe, but for me personally, I wasn't sure if I actually liked it. Part of me thought all these Jedi surviving kind of lessens the importance of Luke, but after reading this, I think I was completely wrong about it. With these surviving Jedi and what they're going through, it actually makes Luke even more important in the end. We also have Palpatine telling Vader it doesn't matter if Jedi survived. We've won. The Order is destroyed. We rule the galaxy. And that parallels the end of the book with Shrine telling Vader it doesn't matter if you kill every Jedi who survived. The Force will live on. And that's referring to Luke Skywalker. Shrine also gets a glimpse of what happens above Endor. He knows that something happens that Vader is at the center of that signifies the light side of the Force winning in the end. Something else that this book did for me is actually change my mind about adapting the expanded universe into films. There's a lot of discussion about if someone bought Star Wars, what would you do with it? And people always say, adapt the expanded universe. And I was always kind of against that because I like the stories remaining in the original form in the novels. But I think this specific story is a good example of an expanded universe novel that would be a perfect film. You have the first act with Shrine and Starstone during Order 66 and escaping the planet, escaping the clones, and escaping Vader. Then the second act of them trying to survive, trying to figure out what happened. Are there any other surviving Jedi? Do we have any allies? And that ends with them almost being caught and killed by Vader. And then the third act would be the battle on Kashyyyk when the Imperials are invading the planet trying to enslave the Wookiees, and Shrine duels Vader so that Chewbacca, some of the other Wookiees, and the other Jedi can escape. And while it ends on a bit of a low point for the protagonists, it ends also with the reminder that one day Luke will save the galaxy, and along with Anakin's help, restore balance to the Force. Reading The Revenge of the Sith and this, it actually makes Vader taking on Starkiller as an apprentice a little more believable, because we see the psyche of Vader, we know what he's thinking. He has been thinking about overthrowing the Emperor for a while. And we also see from the perspective of Palpatine, he understands the value of Vader for now, but once he has the Death Star and once he finds a suitable replacement as an apprentice, he doesn't need him. So they're both kind of just waiting for the opportunity to get rid of the other. We also see a lot of Anakin suffering in this with his new form. It's body horror, it is horrific, it's terrible. Wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. At the end of Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan thinks, I could put Vader out of his misery, but he doesn't really deserve it after everything he's done. And at the time, I agreed, but after seeing what Vader's going through now, he should have just killed him. And Obi-Wan letting him live, to me, doesn't really make him responsible for everything Vader does after that, because he thought he was gonna die. He was burnt alive. It's a miracle he survived. And right at the end of this story, we get to see Obi-Wan find out that Vader is actually alive. We also get more of Bail Organa with Vader on Alderaan and Bail trying to keep Leia away from Vader so he doesn't know that that's his kid. I'm also reading the Force Unleashed novel. Bail Organa is also in that, and I feel like I haven't appreciated this character enough. I really like Bail. We also get to see the clones' reaction to Order 66. I think it works so much better in the expanded universe. I'm pretty certain that the clone commanders are the ones who are programmed to follow it no matter what, and every other clone under them kind of has their own choice to make. And we do get to see some of those clones disobey that order because they don't understand why this is happening, so they stop an ambush from happening on Shrine and the other Jedi so they can escape. And after seeing this, and really thinking about the clones and their position in the Republic and the army, it makes sense that you wouldn't need an inhibitor chip to do this. They're soldiers. The Jedi have betrayed the government they're soldiers of. It makes sense that they would execute them, if ordered to. And the reason I think the inhibitor chips were really put into the Disney canon or the Clone Wars TV show is so that you could have clones be friends with Jedi and still turn on them. They're way more friendly to the Jedi. They're way more involved with them personally than they are in the expanded universe. And in the Revenge of the Sith, we get a lot of Anakin Skywalker, the hero of the Republic. And if he had not been disfigured, I'm sure establishing this empire initially would have been a lot easier for Sidious. And I do like that. I like the idea of they have won, but at what cost? That's what Vader says. We have won, but look at us. We are disfigured. It doesn't feel like a victory. And a lot of his conflict in this comes from this idea of all of this stuff he's done, all this horrific stuff he has done is for nothing because Padme is dead. And it really enhances how tragic Anakin's story actually is. And something that's easy to forget about Anakin after Revenge of the Sith is how young he actually is. He's a very young man by the time he becomes Darth Vader, and by the time of his death, he's still pretty young. He's only like 40 years old. And for me, it brings to mind this thought of, what if Anakin hadn't turned to the dark side? What if he knew about Luke and Leia? What if? What if so many different things happened? It's a very common thought for Star Wars fans, and I think it's just a testament to how great of a character Vader actually is. He is so important that just one or two different choices could have shaped the entire galaxy in a completely different way. That's all I really had to say. Let me know what you guys think of this novel. If you haven't read it, you need to, because it is a must read. It is so good. And reading this right after Revenge of the Sith, a great experience. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.